How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
It's great seeing you.
It's nice to see you
How is
too.
it going?
So far, so good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Please tell the audience your name.
My name is Brenda Wanjiru. I am here on the sidelines discussing after and what the role of the youth is in achieving the Africa Free Continental Trade Agreement and, of course, the African Union Year of Education, which is this year 2024.
That's a great idea. And then maybe now that you're here and you're discussing the role of the youths, what would you say is the issue about youth's inclusion in these matters? What has been the issue? Why is there a fuss about youths now wanting to come on board? Why were they not there on board earlier on?
It is a twofold sort of question because a lot of the times as youth our voices were never really accepted. They were not being heard, and if they were, whatever we wanted was not being implemented. And so that was the major first fight, to get ourselves into that space. And now that we are in that space, our fight now becomes, what value are we bringing to the table right now? Yes, we have been given the voice as youth. Yes, we have been given the microphone. We are being financed and whatnot. But are we implementing whatever it is we're bringing awareness to? Are we solving the problems that we say we're experiencing? Are we helping each other? Are we holding each other's hands? Or is it just us being in the room just for the sake of being youth in the room?
Well, I'm not having mentioned that. I noticed the turn up is quite high and it keeps on increasing. So perhaps I tend to feel like the youth are really willing to be involved and to have a say in these matters. And now going to yourself, you do peace and security at the African Union. What would you say inspired you to be in the space?
It's a bit of a biased answer. Of course, being Kenyan, it had been easy for us to witness firsthand the effects of hosting refugees. Our teachers were refugees, our neighbors were refugees, our friends were either refugees or children to refugees. And so it was easy for us to interact with them, to understand their problems, to see where they're coming from. And the education system also focused on rehabilitation, reintegration, cultural orientation. So as a Kenyan, I would say it's most of us were born into it. So it was easy for us to understand what was going on, how to solve those issues, because we, in a few times,
Yeah,
walked in their shoes,
yeah, sure.
or at least felt.
So having felt it firsthand, you felt motivated to be a part of the change that you like to see, right?
It was mostly giving them an avenue to be themselves, especially with regards to public health.
Okay.
A lot of the times when we talk about the refugees, we are focused on food, shelter, and clothing, but not the psychosocial support.
Right.
We are seeing children who the trauma they have faced
Yeah.
in their country, running away from their country, coming to Kenya. There's a lot they've seen, there's a lot they've had. And when they come to this country, we expect them to go to class. But mentally, psychologically, they're not in class. They're still in the war zone. And so this was an opportunity for us to look at them and say, hey, let us first silence the mind,
Yeah.
then we can talk about education. And so with this, we were able to work with teachers, particularly in border counties, Western Kenya,
Yeah.
who were having students in their classrooms who were having anxiety about panic attacks. And these teachers sat with us and said, this is what we do to help them calm down. And a year or two later, they're now the best in class
Yeah.
because we gave them the avenue to de-stress, to release all that tension, and then become one with the society that we are in.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's a great elaboration because in most instances we don't understand how counseling can be important to children, to adults, even to the youths. And having mentioned that, I feel like you really love being in a space, and should people do, should they?
Thank you.
Though, in addition to that, the peace and security situation in Africa has been a bit of a challenge, for decades. And being in the peace and security council, what you've traveled, maybe you've learned more about these wars, about these challenges and why they come up. What would you say is the main issue behind these conflicts and wars?
I think there is a lot of competition between member states of the African Union. On a macro level, that is state versus state,
Yeah.
and on a micro level, that is the state within the state. You have politicians who are trying to impress presidents who are trying to impress other presidents. And so, with this, a lot of time is being wasted in impressing someone as opposed to dealing with the issue. As of today is the 18th of January, I think it was yesterday, 17th, the BBC Africa Focus was having a feature in this. And they were talking about the situation in Ibadan in Nigeria, the bombing in Ibadan in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And one of the things that came out is that there is a lot of security operations happening in Nigeria, but they're not effective enough. Because it has come out as a slogan that you will be minding your business, but then such things will still follow you.
Yeah.
And so the question now becomes, yes, we are having